was amazing communion given by Kifra. Give a round of applause for Kifra. Kigona Gray. And then we have the baby of the region, baby Tosin. I love seeing that new disciple zeal.
Yeah.
Where you guys gets up there, it was like reads the Bible, and guys, this is what the Bible says. He cuts away all the pretense and he just preaches the word. We got a preacher right there.
Come on, bro.
So turn with me in your Bibles to Mark chapter 6.
Come on, Kolbe.
Come on, Kolbe.
Come on, bro.
Just in case.
It's great. So we've got about 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 23, 24, 26. So we got 26 people here today. But I want you to picture for a second that we're not meeting in the Dorset Hotel with 26 people. Oh, scary. No. I want you to picture that we're in the Royal Albert Hall with 5,000 people. Yeah? Can I get a hallelujah to that? That would be amazing. Yeah? Who here has seen the Royal Albert Hall? Yeah. How cool is it? Are you guys? Yeah, you can back me up on that one. Yeah, very cool.
Oh, yeah.
You sang in it.
Yeah, I was young.
Wow. So imagine we're in the Royal Albert Hall with 5,000 disciples. How cool would that be?
That would be pretty cool.
And it sounds a little bit crazy. It sounds like, whoa, like, how are we ever going to do that? No, it's totally possible.
Yeah.
You think about Hillsong, a church that's about singing and not about the Bible, is they rent out the Dominion Theater. They have 5 services with 2,000 people each service.
Yeah.
10 people on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And they're not even preaching the Bible. And so if they can do it, we can do it too. Are you with me, guys?
Yeah.
And so the title of my lesson today is The Miracle of Reaching 5,000. You want to have 5,000 people in London?
Yeah.
You want to know how we're going to do it?
Yeah.
All right, let's read Mark chapter 6.
Come on, Kolbe.
Mark chapter 6 and verse 1. It says, Jesus left there and went to his hometown, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. Where did this man get these things? They asked. What's this wisdom that has been given him? What are these remarkable miracles he is performing? Isn't this the carpenter? Isn't this Mary's son, the brother of James, Joseph, Judas, and Simon? Aren't his sisters here with us? And they took offense at him. Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in his own home. He could not do any miracles there except lay his hands on a few sick people and heal them. He was amazed at their lack of faith.
Yeah.
So we see Jesus, he goes down to Judea, gathers his disciples, goes back up to the north in Galilee, and he goes to his hometown. And he starts preaching the word in the synagogue. And you would have thought that this is Jesus' friends, his family. They would have been like really excited for him. Right?
Yeah.
Wrong. No. These people were not excited for Jesus. They were amazed. They saw these miracles. He was like, whoa, Jesus, this is incredible. But then they went back to be critical of him, taking offense at him. They were offended at what Jesus did. Like, how dare you heal that person, Jesus? Like, don't you know who you are? Like, don't you know you're just the son of Joseph?
Yeah.
And here's your brothers right here. You're not special, Jesus. And we see that Jesus, he was amazed. There's only 2 times Jesus is amazed in the Bible. It takes a lot to amaze the Son of God, right?
Right.
And once he's amazed by the centurion with his faith, this guy isn't even a Jew, but he believes in Jesus more than all the Jews. And he's amazed here by their lack of faith. And it says that he could not do any miracles. Wow. My first point is this. No faith, no miracles.
Amen. Preach.
And this is an important lesson for us to understand about God. God is not going to do miracles in our life when there's no faith. Which actually makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm super faithless, and then God blesses you. God bless my lack of faith. Oh, I should try this more often. No, of course God's not going to bless a lack of faith.
Right.
And we see that Jesus, he goes, and not only is there a lack of faith, but there's an opposition.
Yeah.
People are coming against him. And this can be hard for us, is that we can sometimes find that the people that take offense at us, the people that are the most critical, the people that are the most down on us, can be our friends, our family, and those close to us.
Yeah.
Which can be really hard. It can be really discouraging. And we see that Jesus here, he's like, well, okay, the only thing I can do is I can heal a few sick people, but I can't really do much because of the lack of faith. I think for us it's important, when we have a lack of faith in our life, there's not going to be any miracles.
Yeah.
True.
If we say, hey, no one's going to be open, guess what? No one's going to be open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we say, I'll never get a better job that pays me more money, you'll never get a better job that pays you more money.
Yep.
If you say, I'll never be fruitful, you'll never be fruitful. If you say, I'll never date, I'll never get married, guess what? You're never going to get married.
Wow.
If you say all of these things, you're a self-fulfilling prophet.
True.
Oh yeah, this is going to be really, really terrible. Okay, yeah, you're right, it was really, really terrible. And so, we need to have faith. Now, Jesus obviously has faith. So Jesus is the one with the lack of faith. It's the town that the lack of faith. So not only can there be a lack of faith in our life, which has a lack of miracles, but a lack of faith in the people around us. If the people around us don't have faith, there won't be any miracles.
Yeah.
And so what we see that Jesus does is what we need to do. Continue on in verse 6, he was amazed at their lack of faith. And rather than getting all down, rather than getting critical, you guys need to repent of your lack of faith. No, Jesus doesn't do that. It says, then Jesus went around teaching from village to village. He's like, all right, fine. You guys don't have faith. I'm going to go find people that do have faith.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality we need to have. When we go out sharing, when people don't want to come to church, when people don't want to study the Bible, even when people do study the Bible, it's like, look, you don't want to be a disciple? Okay, that's unfortunate for you, but I'm going to keep preaching the word like Jesus.
Amen.
Why did Jesus need to do this? Because who was with him in Nazareth? His disciples. So obviously, the disciples didn't have faith. Because you can walk into a faithless situation, and as long as you got faith and the people around you have faith, you're still going to do miracles.
Yep.
Yeah.
If the disciples had faith here, Jesus would have been like, hey, the town didn't have faith, but the disciples had faith, so we went out, we found that open person that wanted to become a disciple. But the disciples didn't have faith. Sometimes, when the people around you don't have faith, you got to have faith for them. You got to have faith for your Bible talk. You got to have faith for the person you disciple. You got to have faith for your family. And so, it starts with having faith for yourself, and having faith that God's going to work miracles in your life, and really, really believing that. And then, having faith for other people around you. This is what Jesus had to do. Jesus led by example. And for us as leaders, we need to lead by example. When people are faithless, let's not be critical of their faithlessness. Let's not be faithless about their faithlessness. No. Let's just be faithful. Let's preach the word and be like Jesus. So
Come on, Kolbe.
Come on, bro.
I learned this lesson the hard way when I was in LA, and I went to Cal State University Long Beach. It's an amazing top school in California. Amazing, awesome people. And I would go there as an intern, and I would go to campus every day, and I'd be like, man, this is a hard campus. Like, there aren't open people. And I show up, and I'd be like, man, the guys in my Bible talk aren't even going to be here. There's no point. And guess what? I show up, and the guys from my Bible talk weren't there. All right, I'm going to share because I got to share. That's the right thing to do. But I know I'm not going to find anyone that's open, so there's no point anyway. And I went and I shared. It was horrible. It was so bad. And now, looking back, I realized how foolish I was. Man, that was so stupid. If I just would have had faith, it would have actually worked out.
Amen.
Because there's lots of open people on everywhere you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so let's not do that. I've been there. I've done it. I've been that faithless, self-fulfilling prophet where I speak things into existence that shouldn't be existing. And so let's not do that. Are you with me, guys?
Yeah.
Let's have faith. Let's lead by example, and let's go stir up people to have faith as well. You ready, guys? Point number 2, hardcore accountability.
Oh, come on.
So after Jesus goes, he leads by example. He gives his disciples a bit of faith. He's like, hey guys, see, look, I did this, now you can do this too. He goes on in verse 7. Calling the 12 to him, he began to send them out 2 by 2, and gave them authority over impure spirits. These were his instructions. Take nothing for the journey except a staff. No bread, no bag, no money in your belts. Wear sandals, but not an extra shirt. Whenever you enter a house, stay there until you leave that town. If any place will not welcome you or listen to you, leave that place and shake the dust off your feet as a testimony against them. So Jesus, he sets the example. He's like, hey guys, here's what we're going to do. You guys are going to go preach the word. You saw me preach the word, now you preach the word. And here are the rules. Go 2 by 2, together. We don't want to have any individual lone wolf preachers or anything like that. No, you guys do it together. And no money, no food, no extra clothes. Preach the word. Go with faith. And this is pretty intense. Now, why would Jesus say this? In Israel, where they were at, it would be very, very hot during the day and very, very cold at night. Like extremely cold at night. And he says, hey, you know that extra tunic, that extra shirt, that extra jacket was going to keep you warm? Leave that behind. You're not going to need that.
Right.
Come on.
You know, food? No, you don't need food either. No, that's fine. Money? Yeah, definitely don't take money. You don't need money at all. Why? Because he says, you preach the word until you find someone that's open. And then this open person is going to welcome you into your home. So this open person is going to provide you with food, they're going to provide you with shelter, and they're probably going to provide you with a little bit of money. So you don't need to worry about any of those things, because you're going to preach, and then God's going to provide these things for you.
Yep.
So we see the disciples who just before in Nazareth were faithless. Now Jesus said, hey, I suggest you get some faith, because without it, you're going to be cold and hungry. That's intense. Imagine that. Imagine that. You have to go find someone, share your faith, until the person you find is open enough to study the Bible and to welcome you to come back home with them.
Wow.
That's intense. But that was the standard that Jesus gave his disciples. For them, they just saw in Nazareth, no faith equals no miracles. But now they see when they go out 2 by 2, no faith equals no food. That's intense. That's a great motivator for food. It's like, God, I really want to have dinner, so please let me find someone that's open. Please let me find someone who wants to be a disciple, so I have a place to sleep tonight. Now, we're not going to do that with you guys. Amen. I'm not going to send you out to do that.
Oh, really?
But we are going to have more accountability for us, because that's what we need. We need accountability, otherwise we don't do it. Are you with me, guys? I'm the same way. If people don't want me accountable, I don't do it. If people don't want you accountable, you don't do it. That's just the way we are as a church. We love each other, but we need accountability.
Yeah.
So Jesus sends them out 2 by 2. Why? 2 people together are going to hold each other accountable. Hey, Peter, you going? You didn't bring any food, right? No. Hey, James, you didn't bring any food? No. Okay, we're good. So you keep each other accountable, no cheating. 2 people together can encourage each other.
Yeah.
So when you have that tough day, when you reach out to someone and they just shut you down hard, like,
Every day.
it's nice having some friends with you. I was on the bus with Enrique and Steven, and we were traveling back. And I was to share my faith, and this guy shut me down so hard. And then Enrique's there laughing because he was there. It was really funny, yeah. It was funny because we were together. If we weren't together, it would have been really discouraging.
Talk about it.
But it is cool.
Yeah.
The other thing is that 2 people together are a lot more persuasive. If I sometimes was sharing by myself, and I met this guy, I think it was Friday night, and he's like, "What, do you just like meet like random people in the street?" Yeah, I mean, like I live here. It's less weird when 2 people are going out together. It's like, oh, so both of you guys are doing this. Oh, okay, that's cool. If one person does it, it's weird. If 2 people do it, it's cool. I don't know why, but that's just the way it works. You with me, guys? Yeah. And so, what we're going to do for accountability, for encouragement, And for effectiveness, is we're going to go sharing again 2 by 2 this week. So same challenge, 7 a day, and we got our 7 a day last week, yeah? Yeah. People are looking a lot more joyful this week, a lot less guilty, so I know we've been sharing that faith, so that's great. And so what we're going to do is we're going to break up 2 by 2. Now, you guys arrange amongst yourself who you want as your sharing buddy, whatever works, and go sharing together. Now, I understand it's not always possible for people like Coral. Where's Coral? Coral, we love you, Coral. You're fantastic. Now, we're not going to ask Coral to drive from Oxford every day here to go sharing in Shepherd's Bush. So if you're not able to get together to share together, amen. That's okay. But definitely minimum call each other every day. Oh, Coral, how'd it go? You get your 7? Oh, actually, you got 10? Oh, of course, yeah, it's typical Coral. And just call each other, follow up, hold each other accountable, and it's going to be great. You with me, guys?
Yeah.
I remember one time when I was in Indonesia, we went, we all went out on a camping trip. And a camping trip at the beach. It was fantastic. And on the way that it works, you would drive to the port, and then you would get a boat to either the inside beach, or you could travel all the way out to the outside beach. And while we were out there, we packed up all of our stuff. It was going to be awesome. It was going to be amazing. We set up our tarp. We set up our beds, we had our mosquito nets, we had everything good to go, and then it was time for the food. We're like, where's the food? It's like, you got the food, right? No, you got the food, right? No. So all of we were up the night before, we were making these like gourmet like sub sandwiches and everything, and we were like really looking forward to these sandwiches. And we forgot them. We left them behind. And so the problem is that to travel out to you get this boat out to the beach, and there's no cell signal, there's no mobile coverage, and we told the guy to come back same time tomorrow. So we were there for 2 days with no food. All we had were these little like ramen noodles. We had 6 of us, and we had 6 ramen noodles to last us 2 days. So fortunately, my sister and her boyfriend, Matt, at the time, he's like, oh, well, I've got this pole spear, because he had done spear fishing before. And he's like, oh, well, let me go out and I'll go catch some fish. And so he goes out, and he's gone for like an hour, and he comes back with these 3 little fish. Oh, God, it's amazing. So we cook those up for lunch. And we're like, hey, Matt, can you go out and get some more, please? And so we're all praying, like, God, please bless Matt, bring him in some food. And so Matt then goes out and he comes back with some more fish. And it's like, okay, this is great, but we're still hungry. Now, I have no clue what I'm doing. I've never done this before, but hey, I'll go, I'll try it. And so I go out, I start swimming, and there's a big difference between spearfishing and snorkeling. Yeah. Snorkeling, you get out, the fish come up to your face and everything like that, super nice. But as soon as you pull out that spear, everyone runs away. All the fish swim away. So I had no clue what I was doing. I was getting battered by the waves, and it was just terrible and things like that. But I was hungry. And that hunger was what motivated me to go after it. Because I knew that, hey, if I didn't catch these fish, I was going to be hungry that day. I wasn't going to die because we had enough water. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to die, but I'm going to be miserable. And so we went after it. I think I caught like 1 fish, and it wasn't like a nice big like fish that you eat. It was like a little small like pretty fish that you're supposed to look at. it was a nice fish, not a tasty fish. But I was hungry, guys. Okay. And so I always remember that is that when I was hungry, I was willing to do crazy stuff. It didn't really matter. I was really going after it. I think for us, we need to have a much more hunger to seek and save the lost. Yeah. We need to have that internal desire to really go after it. Because there are open people. There's tons of people, amazing people in Shepherd's Bush, in Earl's Courts, in Ealing Broadway, in all over West London. It's amazing. Even just this morning, I was walking to church. And a lot of times those like really cool, awesome, open people, we just walk past them when we miss them. And I saw this guy, and he looked like really, really unhappy. He's like, "Who's up?" He's like, "It's all cold." Just like staring. I don't even know what he was staring at, just staring. And I walked past him, and I was like, I should probably share with that guy. I'm going to be late to church. And I kept on walking. I was like, no, I got to share with that guy. And the further I walked away with him, the more awkward it was, because the more I was going to have to turn around and come back. And I was like, I've walked too far. I was like, no, I got to turn around. So I'm like a good 20 feet away from this guy. And then finally, I turn around, I go walk back to him. And I'm just walking. And the guy sees me walking. He's just staring, just watching him. And I go over to him. I was like, I'm sorry, man. I walked straight past you, and I just feel like I just had to come up and talk to you. I just want to say hi, tell you about the service we're having for our church. And he's like, his face lit up. He's like, oh, that sounds really nice.
Aww.
And I was like, yeah, let me tell you. He's like, well, I'm working today, because he'd just seen what he was doing. He was like, yeah, I work today. I work most Sundays, but yeah, if I'm free, I'd love to come. That would be great. And he's like, yeah, tell me about your thing on Thursday night. Okay, sure, yeah, let me take your details and stuff like that. This guy was wide open. There's so many people out there. But we can get so focused in our own busyness, our own way of doing things. We can get focused that, hey, I gotta hurry up and get to church. I don't have time to share with people.
Right.
How crazy of thinking is that?
Yeah.
And so we need to see these people. We need to go after them. And what needs to be, it needs to be a motivation, a hunger from inside of us to go get them. You with me, guys? Amen. So the disciples, given this challenge, how do they feel? They feel fired up. They go after it in verse 12. They went out, preached that people should repent. They drove out many demons and anointed many sick people with oil and healed them. So we can see the disciples, they've got some faith. They're not just doing miracles, they're doing many miracles. They're not driving out some demons, many demons, and many sick people. So this is great. What sort of impact is this going to have? Let's go to verse 30. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him all they had done and taught. So Jesus believes in accountability, sends people out, they come back in, good news sharing. Now I imagine that good news sharing was pretty fire. Are you with me, guys?
Yeah.
Imagine being paired up with Peter. We love Peter. Peter was crazy. But you just be like, oh yeah, Peter, remember that one time, you said that thing that avoided our host, you got us kicked out, we didn't have anywhere to stay that night, we were so cold, remember that? It was so dumb and emotional what you did, but it's fine, because then we went after it, we met this new guy. I'm sure there was some pretty awesome good news sharing.
Yeah.
And I think for us, we've got the beauty of WhatsApp.
Hey.
We need to have a lot more good news sharing on our WhatsApp group.
Amen.
Because it's awesome, it's encouraging when you hear about things. If you've had a slow day and you've given your whole heart but nothing's happened, and you hear about 10 other people that had awesome days, wow, that lifts up your spirit.
Yeah.
And if you had an awesome day, you want to share with everyone to lift up their spirit.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that we need to go after this week, definitely, is, yeah, in our pairs we need to be following up with each other, but even in the WhatsApp group, let's just be having more good news, talking about where we're at, to really to flood it with what God's doing all over the West. So they tell Jesus the good news. Then in verse 31 it says, then, because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, come with me by yourselves to a quiet place to get some rest. Now, you know you've been working hard when Jesus says, hey guys, you need a break. Let's just come, relax, you guys have done really hard work. But what happens, so they went away by themselves in a boat to a solitary place. But many who saw them leaving recognized them and ran on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. When Jesus saw the large crowd, he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. So Jesus is like, guys, you need a break. Let's all gather together. Let's go to a solitary place where no one is. But people heard about this and they left from all the towns. What towns? The towns that the apostles were just preaching at.
Right.
So the apostles went, showed up at the town, preached the word, healed people, and then left. And people were like, whoa, this is amazing. We gotta go find where these guys were at. Where was that guy Peter? He healed all the sick people. We gotta go get to him. And so people were drawn. They were attracted to the message of Jesus, and they were going after it. It says Jesus sees these people, and he sees them harassed and helpless, and he has compassion on them. He starts teaching them. I think for us, we need to remember the people out there, the people in the world, are harassed and helpless. We need to have compassion on them. Jesus just said, hey, let's get away from all these people to a solitary place. When the people show up, he doesn't get ticked off of the people like, hey guys, we're trying to get away from you. Like, leave us alone. We just preach the word, give us a break here. We need some R&R, rest and relaxation. No, he says, man, these guys are helpless. We got to take care of these people. And he starts teaching them. It says in verse 35, by this time it was late in the day, so his disciples came to him. This is a remote place, they said, and it's already very late. Send the people away so they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages to buy themselves something to eat. Now I find this very interesting because the disciples, they're like, hey God, hey Jesus, man, these people are going to be hungry, like, we got to take care of them, like, let's send them away so they can, like, buy their own food. These guys have just come from relying on people to give them food, to give them shelter.
Right.
And now the people show up with them and they're like, hey, Jesus, man, we got to get rid of these people so they can go take care of themselves.
Yeah, great point.
I think this can sometimes be us.
Yeah.
Like, we like try really hard to get people to come to church and things like that, and then we feel like the job's done. Like, hey, like, I did my work, I shared my faith, I brought them to church, like, now what do you want me to do? But no, like, we need to take care of them. We need to take care of people when they come to us, harassed and helpless. We need to provide not just their physical needs, like we're going to have an amazing potluck, it's going to be awesome having food and things like that, but we need to provide for their spiritual needs, more importantly than that. It says, they said to him, that would take more than half a year's wages. Are we to go and spend that much money on bread and give it to them?
Wow.
Now, where did all their money go? It went to Jesus. He's like, hey, remember Jesus says, hey, take no money with you? So Jesus collects all their money, and now they're like, oh, wait, yeah, that's a lot of money. Like, we don't want to spend that much money on these people. We want to be careful not to have that heart, to count the cost, to see, is a person worth investing in? Are they worth giving our time? Are they worth following up? Like, I don't even know if this person's worth following up with. No. That's the heart of the disciples here, and that can't be our heart.
Yeah.
Jesus says, 38, how many loaves do you have? He asked. Go and see. When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups and green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave to all his disciples to distribute to the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 baskets of broken pieces of bread and fish. The number of men who had eaten was 5,000. So here we have the disciples. They started off a little bit faithless. They got a bit of faith, and now they're a little bit faithless, a little bit selfish. And Jesus, rather than getting ticked off with the disciples, like, okay, let me lead again. Let me just go make this happen. And Jesus, he just makes it happen. He's like, hey, what do we got? We got 5,000. We got 5,000 guys. We got 5 loaves. It's 1 per 1,000. That's fine. I can do that. No problem. It's like 2 fish, even better. Now we got bread and fish. And Jesus, he multiplies it. And this is going to be a foreshadowing of Jesus, where in John 6 he talks about, I'm the bread of life. And so what this is, yeah, it's meeting their physical needs. But Jesus is showing, hey, I have enough to meet all of your physical needs and spiritual needs. There's not a shortage of me. Like, I can multiply 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, it doesn't matter. I can do all of that. And Jesus, he breaks this up. So this is an incredible miracle of feeding the 5,000, but other miracle that the disciples did contribute to is they brought the 5,000 to Jesus.
Right.
And it says here 5,000 men.
Right.
So when they say the 5,000 men, there's at least 5,000 women, and we don't even know how many children. You got to think whole towns are coming out to come to see Jesus. And so for us, this is our part, is that Jesus is the miracle. Jesus is going to multiply to provide for everyone's needs. But our part in the miracle is bringing people to Jesus. We bring people to Jesus, and then he does the rest of the work through us. And so this is what we need to be doing. We need to have the faith to go out, to preach the word, to bring people to Jesus, and then Jesus to meet their needs. Are you with me, guys?
Yeah.
This is what we need to do for our upcoming Harvest Sunday. Our Harvest Sunday is going to be incredible. I remember my first International Sunday that I went to, it broke my heart. My heart was very, very hard. Is that I was jaded, I was bitter towards the church, I was bitter towards Christians, I was very skeptical, very cynical even, where I believed the worst in people when I met them. And seeing this International Sunday, it was perfect for softening my heart. I saw, wow, this is a church that really is all nations, that really respects all nations, all backgrounds, seeing all the flags, all the traditional clothes, all the different food. It was amazing. It really softened my heart. And this Harvest Sunday is going to be incredible. I know it's going to soften a lot of people's hearts. Even just telling people about it, like, hey, is that we're having an international service. Would you like to come and represent your country? People are like, yeah, I would love to represent my country. This is special. This is something that's very, very special. And I know that this is going to have a great impact on people. Now, we don't know here how many people actually became disciples. It doesn't say. Because the truth is, it doesn't really matter how many became disciples in this instance. Because all of these people, without a doubt, were impacted.
Yeah.
I'm sure they never forgot the time where they all chased down Jesus and he fed 10,000 people with 5 loaves.
Right.
And that would stick with you.
Yes.
Even if you didn't necessarily become a disciple, get baptized straight away then. You got to think, after Jesus goes up to heaven, the apostles are going to go back, preach to the same town, to the same people.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, I remember these guys. I remember that guy Peter. He's a little bit different now. Is that now he's got a different strength to him.
Right.
And so for us, even if people don't necessarily get baptized straight away at the service, even if they don't have their hearts moved immediately, they're going to be impacted.
Yeah.
They're going to be impacted by coming in contact with Jesus, and they're going to remember it. And so whether it takes 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, it's going to have an impact. It's going to produce a result. Is that Bernice? Where's Bernice? There she is, right there. We all love Bernice. Is that she came out to Women's Day in February. She didn't get baptized until September. Now, does it matter that it took her that long to get baptized? No, she's here as a disciple. It's awesome. We're fired up. We all love Bernice. Women's Day is a very special event that happens once a year that really impacts people in a profound way. And it sticks with them. Whether it takes them a week, a month, 6 months, whatever. This is going to be a very profound service. It's going to have a big, big impact on people's lives. And a lot of people are going to become disciples because of it. What we need to do, we need to get as many people there as possible. Our goal is 314. We can totally do that, guys. We hit 313 at the EMC. We've already done that before. Now we've got to do it again. And do you guys believe that we can do it?
Yeah.
We have faith?
Yeah.
So, we need to have faith that God's going to bring these people together. We need to have accountability. We need to do this together. And then we need to bring people to Jesus for the miracle. If we do this, we're going to have an incredible Harvest Sunday. People are going to get baptized. It's going to be spectacular. It's going to set the tone for 2018, where we do even greater things. You with me, guys?
Amen.
I love you guys. To God be the glory.